I'm sorry to reveal my ignorance, but can someone explain to me what the Board of Regents role is?
They're supposed to run the university.
They're supposed to provide the general direction and oversight through the president. But it seems to wander back and forth from micromanagement to.
Also make policy and direction, it's in the direction.
Well, the
of
general, yeah, but
institution.
not to get down and
Not
micromanage.
it,
But they
to
do
s-
micromanage
But to
a lot.
set the general agenda and direction of where we're going to go as a collection of institutions.
Do they have ultimate authority then? So they could say, no, we're not going to go for a superstar president coming in on
Suppose-
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
they
could
They're
do
also the
that.
ones who
do,
sign off on
exactly.
your promotions. It's not official until they sign off on your promotion.
And so who are they and why aren't they doing a better job?
I think they get influenced by the administration, and they got pulled down this road that maybe they're not supposed to go on. So that's one problem. The other thing is the Board of Regents are appointed by the legislature. Okay, so there's some agendas maybe going on over there, and they might not be a cohesive group. So
I
there's a
think
lot of
the Wonder Blender, woke them up a bit to their responsibilities. And that maybe they hadn't been as responsible as they should be. And I don't know how long that's going to last.
There's some very good ones, but there are also some dunderheads, and some who are there to represent their interests, they're not there for the university, they're there for.
But that's another forum where maybe we as faculty need to be more involved and show up at the Board of Regents meetings with testimony and help them understand where we're coming from and what we want on their agenda.
Well, actually, there was a period of time where we did have more contact with the Board of Regents. It used to be when there was a Board of Regents meeting, all the faculty senate chairs essentially went there, and that's where we held the all-campus council faculty senate meetings. And oftentimes you'd be sitting in the airport talking with the Board of Regents. You'd sit next to them on the plane. There was a lot of interaction. And they were very interested in what we had to say. But then, through budget cuts, which is always their mantra, right? That stopped. And now there seems to be like a real separation, and it just seems like it's the administration purposely isolated the Board of Regents from the faculty senate chairs so they can solidify their influence.
And a lot of times, who are they going to ask for advice? The administration.
Yeah.
So, if you're not going to be in there and say, wait a minute now, and stick our heads in there, you're going to continue to listen to the administration.
Are we allowed to show up to the meetings?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're not, until they go into executive
Right,
session.
until they go into executive session. But many of us have testified. And when they came to Maui with the president's search, they came during my class, so I brought my class. I was just like, and so the room was mostly full of my students, and they got to talk to, 3 of the regents, like what they thought was important, what the president,
And do you feel like the regents were receptive?
I think they were. That particular group that was there was the two Maui regents plus the head of the search committee plus John Holzman. And they're all, I think, those 4 are probably the most receptive to me anyway on the board. But they were tickled that I brought students. I was just like, I had class. How else was I going to do this?
Well,
I brought them in, and
The chairman of the board, John Holzman, is leaving. And John came and met with the board, the UHPA board. And I was really impressed by him. He knows what's going on. The problem is, I think it's so overwhelming sometimes. What are you going to do? The guy's deer in the headlights.
Well, and UH is dug itself in a deep hole, so how do you pull us out of this hole, whether it's a maintenance hole or...
And I don't think we know the agenda of all the regions. They might be just like, herding cats or something. So I think that might be a real challenge even for the chair.
But if that's a challenge, that gives an
Strength to
opportunity
the
for the faculty to
administration.
come in
And-
and
and
maybe say.
Dan needs credit for always, UHPA is one of the constant voices of the Board of Regents, and he's always saying, there's a problem with the system, and, he's there to support the faculty and, trying to be the faculty voice, but it would help if there were faculty coming to be the faculty voice too.
In the past, the board has also deferred to the president, which is not necessarily the right idea. same with Joe Bell,
Yeah.
I think even Marcy. They didn't really, they were thinking everything was fine.
So what's the plan for getting a new president that we did last year?
Where is that?
They're searching, I think I don't know.
Town.
The